So bendiciones, everybody. Um, man, we had to have this discussion because, as you see, I have Lady Galactica here. Her, her story and everything that she went through, it inspired so many women that like they were just messaging me, asking me to bring her on to talk about like how was she able to get out of a narcissistic situation. There has been content recently that I posted that has gotten a lot of views online where women are also coming to inquire about, getting out of these type of situations with men. And as you guys know who watched the last video, she kind of recanted some of her experiences because we were talking about mental health and her dealing with a man that was going through mental health issues, things of that nature. And that mental health issue in particular was narcissism. And so women really wanted to know like the ins and outs of like how to get to the other side of being with a man that's narcissistic. As many know, she was in a relationship with a popular spiritualist, who's known her. And so she recanted some of those things. So today we're just going to dive deeper for the sake of the women that are looking for this insight to learn through somebody's experiences, to dive deeper into escaping these type of situations and how did she come out to the other side, the pain that she went through in this type of situation, and all of the transition that she went through as a woman. So Queen, the first thing I really want to talk about is the perception. So when you first met that individual, what was like your perception at first? Like, like, because I know a lot of narcissistic people can make themselves seem more grand or, a certain way. So how did it strike you at first?
When I first met him and as I got to know him in the beginning, I just kept saying, "Oh, this guy is weird." But I have Moon Aquarius. You know how we are. We're curious about weird shit. So
Right.
I feel like my curiosity is what really kept me going with him because it was just like, and there's a reason why I stuck around was because like people judged him for what he did, and I didn't like that. You know what I mean? Because I respect the Haitian voodoo. People might not know shit about it, but it comes from down to our independence. So that was one thing like that kept me with him because I'm like, no, we got to stick together.
Oh wow. So the image, okay,
Yeah,
because a lot of women go through this. So this is how y'all women run into these men. They got a name like in the community, like as a bad name. Like women might be like, oh, he's loose, he just deal with different women. Or like maybe they have a reputation in the streets and they're like, and you just want to be the good one to be like, well, let me see what he's really about. Like,
yeah,
let me give him a chance,
yeah.
because maybe 1,000 people are wrong, right?
It might just be that one rare person people are overlooking.
Right.
And that's one thing that always kept with me. Because I'm gonna tell you a story. I remember when I used to live in the hood in Camden. There was a guy I used to date. Long story short, no one liked me. Everyone called me a bitch. And I remember he kept saying, "Yo, I'm gonna meet her myself because y'all might not really know her." And then when he met me, he was like, "Yo, everyone told me not to fuck with you, but you're like the coolest person ever." He was like, "Yo, you're really not a bitch. It's just people don't then sit there to get to know you better."
Wow.
So that's how I approach life in that way. Because I'm like, okay, I don't go by what people tell me. I'd rather see for myself, which you did yourself as well. I did warn you that this person does have a reputation of fighting with different spiritual men in the community. And you said, you know what, I'd rather see for myself. So I can't blame you for that as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the thing. And let's say the signs I was overlooking was the glamour, right? Because narcissistic people, that's their main thing. That's their cherry on the ice cream, right? The jewelry, the fast cars, the money, this, that, and the other, right? And I realized that when he speaks, he talks very fast, where you can't even give yourself a second to think.
Mm.
That's another tactic narcissistic people do. So it's kind of like it makes you overlook the things they're doing in your face. It's kind of like someone's playing a magic trick, but they're
Oh,
going to
right,
the steps they're doing,
right.
you know. But imagine they were doing it slow. You'd be like, oh, that's how they did that because they put the card here and that's how they're able to do it this way. But that's how he was. He was a trickster.
Mhm. Right,
You
okay,
know?
so
Yeah.
he was able to fast talk you into,
Yes.
like, glancing over the problem, so it's kinda like a person is like, "Yeah, like, yeah, so I got a body in my basement, but, like, otherwise that, we can go get ice cream," and, like, kinda like that.
Careful. Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So and
Hmm.
that's an interesting thing because, yeah, there is a time where like you should look past to see certain things for yourself with individuals, but also monitor maybe how deep that you're going with that individual before
Yeah.
you see that people were wrong or if they were right. So maybe, somebody approaching somebody like that, and they're seeing the reputation already, maybe they like really slow walk it way more and don't overlook the things like they're fast talking you into agreeing or they have like a vibrato about like what they have all the time and they're like this watch is cost this much or that. So maybe these
Hmm.
are like some of the things that you guys can look at to say, wait, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to go that path. But maybe if you see the person is actually genuine, maybe that person may you watch how they interact with like their children or like their family or like how do their friends view them, like their close friends, not like the outside world but like their actual friends. But in your case, did you even have like friends that like his friends that you could even gauge that from?
Again, he didn't have any friends.
Okay.
Have anyone to be like, hey, it was almost as if like I felt bad for him.
Mm,
Felt bad for him because I'm like, what? You don't have like no friends? You don't have like I don't even think he was I don't even think he was close to his family members at the time, because I guess because he was going through a very different transition. I mean, besides his father, they'll talk here and there. But yeah, he didn't really have a person. He didn't care to have friends either
mm,
because he knew himself. But I didn't, But I just thought like, oh, because he did voodoo, people probably judged him. Like for example, for me, some people judge me in my community the fact that I do astrology, and it's sad. They look at me like I'm weird, like, oh, you really follow that, the stars, like. So that's why I was like around him more because I'm like, oh wow, you have no friends. People judge you for voodoo. Oh,
right.
be your friend.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
it was
So y'all women, be careful of that, okay?
exactly. That's a trap right there.
Right.
That's a trap.
Because see what tends to happen is if
Yeah.
you become his only friend, like now he can just like kind of clutch you in a way, and then you can become like the focus of like the pain, the torment that he feels. It can
Yeah.
all end up coming out towards you. So be very careful. And also the leadership qualities. Men that are usually have strong leadership qualities have people that look to them in some way or another. So that
Right.
may be friends that look to them, that may be family that look to them, the community may look to them, and this is showing you qualities of a leader where that man can probably be a good leader in your life and then you can probably trust him. But if you don't even see people that kind of lean on them in one way or another, even if it's emotionally, that's a big red flag. So be aware of the lone wolf type of guys because those are the ones who could really have you in a situation because wolves should have a pack that they kind of led. So like if it's just a lone wolf, obviously the other wolves ain't not dealing with him to the
Hmm.
fact that it has no family, you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
like you see
Yeah.
lions just roaming around, they don't have no pride under them. So it's you gotta look because sometimes those animals are sick. So like a lot of times, even in nature, because I like to look to nature, like a wolf that doesn't have a pack, a lot of times that wolf can be sick. There could be something wrong with it, you know,
Hmm.
uh, and this is why they're alone. And people, it's a similar thing. Like those people could have mental illness. Those people could have underlying issues to the fact that they don't have any family around them. they don't have any friends around them, and then they can project those toxic things onto you. So be very wary of like that type of thing dealing with these individuals. So
Or a wolf in sheep clothing.
wolves in sheep clothing, they could be very predatory in nature.
Yeah.
Remember, a lot of serial killers, they were very charismatic. You know,
Yes.
they say most serial killers are very charismatic. People could even like them,
Yeah.
but they're loners at the same time and
Right.
killing people. So like, yeah, like a wolf in sheep clothing, that can also be so where they prefer to hunt alone to do their wickedness. So that's another way how to look at it. So as we get past the stage, like you've seen all these red flags, and instead of being like, whoa, let me put my brake, you was like, well, I see all these flags. I think it's great adventure. Like it's Six Flags. So she went
On a roller coaster.
right,
Yeah.
like she went, she see all these red flags. She said, well, I guess
Yeah.
it's an amusement park. Let's go. And so you walk into it. How did things start to progress, like, when you started to realize, like, "Whoa," like, not
Yeah.
it's not just weird, it's this is not right, like, something is not right.
This is gonna be funny, but I have to bring it up. So this was my birthday. My birthday. I'm turning 24. I'm happy. I'm excited. We went out to eat or whatever. But before we went out, I guess he didn't see me how I looked.
Mm,
So during my birthday, we went out to eat. Long story short, I was there. He was so quiet, and I'm like, okay, why is he so quiet? He's like, oh, babe, it's your birthday, like, and I'm all like, oh, and I remember at the end of our dinner, I was like, okay, where's the cake? And he's like, okay, whatever, bring the cake. But he said it so nonchalantly. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga?
right.
So when I got home, he was like, let me tell you this right now. He was like, if you don't take those lashes off, I'm kicking you out my house. Yo,
Whoa.
I'm
So this
sorry.
whoa. So on your birthday, and so on your birthday, you wanna look good, you wanna not only for, like,
Yeah,
yourself, but
yeah,
also for the man that you're in a relationship with, because you wanna feel sensual. A
yeah.
woman wants to feel sexy, especially her birthday. And
Mhm.
so he tells you, if you don't take those lashes off, he's kicking you out of his house.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. So when that took place, like, how did you take that? You know?
I felt I was like, like, who am I talking to? Number one, and number two, I was just so in shock because I was like, are you seriously kicking me out because of these fucking lashes? Fucking lashes that bitches is wearing to this day.
Right.
Wanna kick me out because of lashes, my nigga?
And
Not because I
so
Not because I fucked another nigga, not because I robbed your shit, but because I had lashes on. So okay, now see what kind of bitches you like around you.
right.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
guys, this is another tactic of like somebody breaking down your defenses as far as your esteem. Because just imagine, like, as a woman, you're thinking that, oh, I'm beautiful today. It's my birthday. I'm looking my best. And
It's not like
right,
it's my birthday, my day.
right, and a man just comes and he's like, you know what? Not only like does that dress make you look fat, you actually look fat every day. I really don't even. I'm not even attracted to that. So it kind of like shatters in that
Yeah.
moment. It's a shock because it can.
That's shock. Yes.
Yeah,
That was my shock. And then from that, that's when the worm started coming out the can. I'm like, oh, really?
right.
Okay. Kind of. What other cards you want to pull this time? You know what
Because
I mean?
yeah, your esteem is like one of your first lines of self defense. Where once a person can break that in you, they can
Yeah.
break you and then make you go for things that you normally wouldn't have went for. And it starts with those cracks from those shocking incidents, and then it
Mhm.
gets more normalized. So as these things, what did it look like when like these insults or put downs started to become more normalized with you?
Um, normalized. I wouldn't say normalized. I would say more so like I just let him have it because I'm just like, okay, now I know who you are. But again, it was because of narcissism. For me, I'm thinking like, um, you just a trickster. All right, you're just a trickster. Because I remember when I first met him, and I knew he was a spiritual person. I was like, okay, can you pull a card to know why I'm here? Because I was so curious. I'm like, oh my god, let's see. And you know what's the first card he pulled out? The magician.
Oh wow.
You know what the magician is, right? A
Right.
trickster. I was gonna do with a fucking trickster, but mind you, I was a spiritual at the time. I don't know what the fucking magician card means.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, it was just like I tolerated it because I loved him. That's what it was. Like I was in love with him. I didn't want to leave him. I was like, okay, I already invested. You know, let me just keep this going. Let's see how far he's going to take this. Okay, because it was just shit. Like let's just talk about this. I was vulnerable. I had nowhere to go. Okay, so in that moment, I'm like, look, I don't want to think about that right now. So let me deal with this in the midst of me dealing on how to plan my escape plan. Although I didn't know how the fuck I was going to do it.
Right.
Okay. I just kept on going with it. Like, okay, let me see how far I can keep going with this. And it got to the point where I was voiceless.
Women.
Yeah, I was voiceless, meaning like, okay, all
Right.
right.
So
So,
be careful, women, be careful of that as well because so one, this shows that your ancestors will usually try to give you a sign, but you could
yeah,
miss it because that's even what they did with her. But also, be careful that you don't let it go too far because yes, this is how you become voiceless because you're like, I'm trying to give them a chance to show that maybe it's different or maybe this is just an odd occurrences like or maybe they're just in a phase maybe it'll end but in reality it will get worse and it will get worse and it will get worse
yeah,
um so another aspect of like all of this is when we're talking about how narcissistic men can break a woman a lot of times they can use things like infidelity in order to shock you even worse because see when the verbal things that they say doesn't have the same impact now this is when they can go to betrayal to further break the person down and this is it's sick but this is the same thing that you see with like animals how people can break down like a dog or a horse you know what I'm saying and
hmm
it's sick because they will do this on people and so now a man could purposely cheat on you and or betray you so that you can go through that emotional trauma and then
hmm
once you go through it they can act like they want to like fix it or they can act like they're changing and then it flops you every time you accept them back you fall deeper.
yeah, that's what he did every time. And you know what's crazy? Let me show you a card. This is how I felt being with him. Do you know what this card is?
What is it? I'm not really a tarot reader. I do the runes.
Oh, it's not. Okay. So this
Yeah,
is
I do the
called the
runes.
Close. You can see the image. You see how she got her head down?
Mhm.
So yeah, that was me. Although I had the gifts, although he gave me gifts, I
Mhm.
was happy with those gifts. Okay. I wasn't happy what he was giving me. My head was always down. Excuse me. No matter how many Louis bags, what the fuck he bought me, like those can't fix my emotions. You know, like your behavior needs to be changed. And you know what it was too? Now that I saw that, I made it a competition. Like, okay, he thinks he's gonna play this game with me. All right, I'm gonna do this so he can change. I'm gonna do this so he knows this is bad, so he don't do it
Ooh.
again. I was
Oh,
playing with him,
okay.
basically. Like,
Okay.
"Mom, don't do that. Why are you doing this? Why you talk to me like that? You know you're not supposed to do that to a woman." Da, da, da. But he still will go rah rah rah. It's like I even recorded our arguments. Okay, like I still have them in my phone. I think, but yeah, it was just like back and forth, back and forth. Like I always want to win over his ego. Like it became like an ego thing now. Like, oh, you think you're gonna do this? All right, I'm gonna do this so you know not to do that again. So I'm gonna do this. It's like, yeah.
So y'all can see how now this a great adventure thing is starting to become toxic because you're in it now.
Yeah,
Now
I'm in it.
the narcissist has brought you into their world and
Literally.
you have to play in their. And here's the thing, you can't save them because, okay, so I just want to show a quick receipt which shows these people view women in a certain way already. And so this is already inside of them. So it's hard to really, they need professional help to actually change their view most of the time. Because if a person, for instance, puts up statuses like this, so just a second, y'all, because I gotta find it. All right. So if a person is, as you see here, he put a status up that says, man, if I was single and broke, I would be paying for some pussy right about now. Too bad I got a wife now. So look at how we're looking at women. He's talking about paying directly for prostitution in the context of him having a wife, so-called, at the time.
This is when we're together, yep.
So this is while he is with the Queen Lady Galactica. Look at the post that he's saying. Ladies, imagine if the man that you're with goes online and he says, man, if I was single and broke, I would be paying for some pussy right about now. Too bad I got a wife now. And he thinks that is humorous.
Right.
This is the type of things that we're dealing with these type of men. So it already shows you that he can objectify a woman in a way that it can just be strictly transactional. So imagine how he can look at a woman that he's in a relationship to just say, if you don't change your eyelashes, I'm kicking you out off the rip. This is very easy for a person like that to do because they already don't have a true respect to women. So even like today, she's an object, you know. And even today, he refers to his current woman as a bitch, or my bitch is this, and my bitch is a gangster, my bitch. So this is just the way that this person is viewing the divine feminine. So how can they really have a true relation to the divine feminine? And that's another thing I want to talk about, because these narcissistic men, they can use the women that they even cheat with you against, and they can use that as now an insecurity. So Lady Galactica, what were your experiences with infidelity? Like how did those things get used against you, and how were you able to keep sanity? Because that's crazy.
Well, I'm a Scorpio. From the back, we are very jealous people, right? Especially when you fucking with our only one. All right. So I'm not gonna lie, he did bring that up and he said, hey, I have a business. I talk to a lot of women. Don't get jealous. Although it's 3:00 in the morning. All right, cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, basically, he knew that I wasn't the type to fuck with that kind of shit. So I felt like the way he escaped from that was he would start an argument, right, in the house, and he wouldn't come back till like 8:00 at night. There's no way you out there doing this jewelry shit that long. Like you're clearly hanging out, taking a bitch shopping, or you got somebody in your car. Okay. Because that's what he would do with me. All right. That's what he would do with me. Like I remember at the time when we were on and off, but he was seeing someone. He took me shopping. Okay. So it was just like he instilled on me so much so that I didn't give a fuck at this point when we weren't together. I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's what you were, out of spite. I was like, okay, well, that's what you're doing with me. Cool. Let's do it. You know what I mean? How can I put this? So the way I kept my sanity was like I had to kept telling myself, like, okay, that's a business, whatever. I can't be mad that these bitches are flirting with him on the phone or saying I love you, papi, texting him shit like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatnot, and him going on these flights in different states or whatnot.
So
But
he
we're
would
arguing.
say that's clients.
Yeah, he was say, "Oh, I had to go to a client. I have to go live in their house." Really, you fucking the bitch, but okay.
So he
Um,
was doing like the dad on Eve's Bayou when he was a doctor and on Eve's Bayou he was having sex with all the women that he was seeing. If you watch that movie Eve's Bayou, he's a doctor, but
uh huh.
all the women that he go do the house visits, he have sex with all of them.
Mm,
That's what he was
mm.
doing.
And you know, I believe it. If you were to tell me he never had sex with any of the women he visits to do spiritual work, I'm gonna say, nigga, you fucking lying, because clearly those were the same bitches that you got riding for you.
Right.
Oh, that bitches buying you Versace slippers. Like, I'm sorry. What are you their like sugar baby or some shit? Like, is this really a spiritual assignment or is this transactional?
Right.
Or maybe I don't know. It felt like both, but either way, I didn't want to question it. And God, this nigga brought so much shit to me too. Let's talk about that. I'm gonna be vulnerable about that. He blamed me about a bunch of things that I felt like that was going on with me, with my pH. Okay, as a woman, we had to be on that shit, right?
Right.
But because I was fucking with a hoe, I had to heal myself, okay, and go to the doctor. And they told me I had this and I had that. And I'm like, well, I'm not fucking on no other nigga who's bringing these things to me. You know,
Mm,
that was one thing. And he kept blaming me on the fact that it was because I'm not eating right or it's because I'm not. How are you going to tell me about my body? I'm a fucking woman. I know my body. All right. So when I'm buying all these things secure and I'm seeing the same shit, my nigga, are you sure? Or is it something that you're bringing to me?
right.
Because you're fucking these dirty bitches.
Right.
All right.
And that's crazy because they will flip
He
this.
made me crazy for asking these questions because, again, he made it seem like it's business. He would never fuck a client because it's business. He doesn't give a fuck about them. Clearly, you don't give a fuck about them because you don't give a fuck about me as a woman. So, of
Right.
course, you say those things and do as you please. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, so women, they will. It goes so extreme. Like, a man could he could get a woman pregnant and blame you. He
Yeah.
he could come and bring you um a infection from the woman and blame you and find a
Mm-hmm.
way to make it your fault.
Yeah.
That's what these type of men do. And it's interesting. So even how they will play these women against each other. Often these men, they can get so comfortable with, infidelity, that certain of these women, they can even begin to use against you, and now you're knowing it. But once again, this dumb in love type of thing that happens, then you're dealing with, it's if you're dealing with somebody in the spiritual community, you don't know what kind of things they're even doing on you behind the scenes with spirits, to keep you a certain way, right?
Yeah. 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 I'm going to go there too.
Uh,
Because, again, everything's not only scientific, there's a spiritual side, right?
right.
So, him, I wasn't Lady Galactic at all. Okay, I was barely Madame Étoile, barely that. Okay, so I didn't know nothing about spirituality, but I would hear from my Haitian family about voodoo and how certain things could occur. Now I remember there's a closet that he would keep mine in Piachesh, and he was like, "Yo, that's the only spirit I know that fucks with you because any bitch that come here is rather she get in a car accident or her heels getting broken off, whatever." I mean, astrologically, I get it because Marina Piachesh is like a Scorpio. I mean, she lives in the woods, she lives in the dark, whatever. But he would tell me, but I also feel like he utilized that spirit to keep me with him.
Mm,
Okay, yeah, spirit might love me, but you're saying that, yeah, the spirit loved me to keep me and you together. All right. Which wasn't in part of my destiny because clearly my mom told you in your dreams, in his dreams specifically, that what am I doing here? Wrong woman. All right. But again, I'm dumb in love. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know nothing about spirituality, but I do know these things exist, whatever. So
mm.
in the midst of all that, your spirituality can make people feel crazy, yo. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Because when I first met him, that's when I had got arrested. All right. When I had left him, we weren't together, but we were fucking around. I remember I got arrested. Now I'm peeping the patterns. He has a spirit that I feel like walks with him. That if a woman interferes with any other nigga, she's gonna have consequences. I got arrested. Bam. I didn't know that had anything to do with him because we weren't even together. But I guess he was butthurt. Because that day he was in Miami, and that weekend I had to go to Miami. It just so happened that day I got arrested and I lost my job at TD Bank. I lost everything. Everything. My family looking at me like I'm weird. Like, who are you? You're not part of our family.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and women, you have to be careful because see how this is a man who is using the spirit to keep her entrapped
Yeah.
against her will is the same way physically. Maybe you get a man that's not spiritual, but he have a similar way of thinking. This is a person that now can stalk you, that now can stalk your friends, that now can have people stalk you, and then you can go through a very dangerous type of situation. And this is what we're seeing on the news so much of these
Yeah.
men that snap and then they took the life of the woman that they were with. People just seen recently the young lady in Philadelphia who had like 6 kids with the man, and
Yeah.
he ended up stabbing her to death in a van. And this was only like what within the last month or so. So this isn't a common. It's more common than you think. So be very careful with these type of men because you don't want to end up physically in danger. And most of these men don't know anything about working with a spirit or things like that. They're going to be carnal about it and go about it in that way. Um, so a thing I wanted to talk about is how, even as time goes by with these type of men, they could even still hold on to the spite that they built up when they were together with you. And so even like right now, this individual, he currently has a girlfriend, but that didn't come in a so wholesome way. So Queen, how did that kind of come to be where now he's dating this new girl?
So when we were together, I remember this was in what, May 2019?
Mm,
It was May 2019 because it was a month later or 2 weeks later he kicked me out. All right. So in March we were going through our breakups. April going through our shit, but we're still living in the same household, being distant, being weird. So I remember, I think in May I took my sister to Sojo Spa. But I remember that day my sister said she had a dream. It was weird because all narcissistic men have a type, right? And he likes to go by a woman that I guess you would say look, have a little resemblance, whatever the fuck. And because my sister's like the light skinned version of me, I had a dream that he was cheating on me with my sister. At first, I was like, "Who the fuck? Why the fuck are you?" You know what I mean?
right.
Then I was like, my sister said, "Yo, I had a dream that she saw me or whatever," but she was like, "Yo, that got nothing to do with me or whatever." I forgot how this shit happened, but that's how I knew there was somebody else in the picture. I never knew though, but I felt like there's somebody else because I kept having a dream, but I thought it was my sister, but it wasn't.
Mm,
All right. So came from the spa a month later, we broke up. Here we go. He's posting a picture of that girl he's with right now. So
mm,
I was like, so you've been cheating on me this whole time. You've been planning your little escape plan, you know what I mean? Your little minion until I get off the scene. You know what I mean? So that's how that all happened, 2019. He was saying that they weren't serious at the time. They were just friends. I
mm.
call it bull, but he said they were friends. Because I remember we got back together 3 months later. Like, because whatever, he wanted to style, he felt bad and shit. So then, yeah, we had got back together. But then, I believe months later, we broke up again. So it was like, throughout our on and offs, he kept going back to her. He really wasn't in love with her. He was really using her to get at me.
Right,
This whole, but where he fucked up at, he ended up falling in love with her in the midst of playing those games with me.
right.
So, and then he had other bitches he was dating too. She wasn't the only one that he was like playing this game.
So
Okay.
pay attention to what this woman is saying because this is why I tell y'all be careful when you're dating a man and you're in the beginning of his come up and how much energy that you're putting there, because these men, they will get to where they have to go, and then they will leave you for their side chick, and then they will try to pass it on to the world as a power couple or a couple's goal, and that's not what that is. It was a
I don't.
scandal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and now that scandal, they're trying to clean it up. So this is nothing to cheer on. This is nothing. Imagine that you guys are with a man and he's cheating on you throughout the relationship. Now, the last woman that he's cheating on you with, he gets to a certain point in his life. He ends up going to be with that woman that he's already betraying you with, and then he tries to pass on to the world like, "Oh, this is just a happy, wholesome family." No, it's not. It's the whole thing is scandalous. All right, and you guys have to be careful about when you're supporting stuff that you don't even know the background of it, because you're cheering that type of behavior on, and that's disgusting. Like, you can't walk away from be with a side chick, and you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a wife, you're
Mm.
cheating on her, then you leave the wife for the side chick to stay with her, and then you get cheered on by people. That's insane. That is insanity. You know what I'm saying? So be
Yeah.
careful when you guys are, looking into these people online, because you don't
I'm,
know.
look at Kanye West and Kim when they got divorced, right? What was the first thing Kanye did? He got him a model chick and started like going crazy on the media. Going crazy. Oh, look at my bitch. Dressing her like Kim Kardashian. Oh, here's another thing. He kept dressing her like me.
Oh, wow.
Like how I wear my outfits, how I wear my shit. Like she would dress her up like how I dress my, like, you know what I mean? So that was weird. I'm like, oh, so you're trying to build you up. I remember he sent me a picture when I broke up with him for the first time, but we were dating. He sent me a picture of a girl. He was like, I found a clone you. He found a clone me. So you're basically saying that you out here trying to look for another me when you never could find me because I only will be me.
Wow.
I'm, you cannot find another me, honey. It
Right.
will never. He sent me a picture, yo. He sent me a picture. He's like, yo, I found a clone version of you. I started laughing. I'm like, yo, is this guy fucking weird? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right. And the crazy part,
But no,
so
my point, I'm sorry. Kanye kept dressing that girl like like Kim Kardashian. And look at the girl he's with today. She looks just like Kim Kardashian. Yeah. That shit is sick to me.
so and y'all gotta be careful. The
Yeah, yeah,
mental illnesses, all this is a mental illnesses stuff.
yeah.
So
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but I'm laughing at my pain. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
you got to.
this shit was disheartening, and I just want to make light of it,
Hmm.
just so I can conversation. Because just me talking about it alone, especially with the last shit, that shit triggered me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
that's what with Eshu, he teach you that you
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
laugh your pain off and give it to the crossroads.
yeah.
So, all right. So, as you're seeing, when was the moment when like really you were like, enough is enough. I'm done with this for good. Like, what was that like?
So I remember every time you watch movies, right? He's always like vouching for the villain in the movie or whatever. So I remember there was a movie called I Care. It's called I Care on Netflix. Please watch it. It's about a woman. She's bad, no lie. But the people she was dealing with was worse than her. So long story short, when the woman died, he was like, "Yeah, that's what she get," and he kept laughing. Like he kept laughing. He got so excited, and that scared me because I'm like, "Are you trying to kill me, nigga? Are you trying to say that you want
Right,
me killed?"
right.
Because I'm helping people out here. You know what I mean? And I have people like you that's trying to be against me. Okay. And then on top of that, I feel like he's been doing work on me for years, yo. Let me keep it 100. I feel like he's been doing work on me for years. Okay. Because there is something that I have internally that he wants. All right. And obviously he can't have because what more can you do? You've been doing the things you've been doing for years now. I even went to how you call Babalao?
Yeah, Baba.
He told me that he had me buried under dirt. Okay. Like literally. That's the work he did on me. Just so I have no money, I have no love in my life, just so I can be depressed, I guess, and I guess kill myself off of suicide. Because I remember he would tell me certain things like, "Oh, I have a friend. She was suicidal when she died, and I thought about you."
Mm.
Nigga, why you thinking about me in that sense? I'm sorry, that fucked with me. Cause I'm like, how you in love with me, but yet you have all this killer mentality? Like, so basically we were watching that movie and I kept feeling my body. Mind you, I was working with a spirit at the time. And I felt like that spirit told me, bitch, get the fuck out. Because I kept feeling so much pain on my body from
Mm.
the spirit I was serving at the time. She kept literally, like, I felt something like telling me to leave. Okay. And it was hurting my body that I felt like I almost died that day. All right. Because I felt like a coldness went in my heart and I couldn't move my arm. Like, this is how crippled PTSD can make you. I didn't realize that anxiety can kill you. It can cause brain fog and literally illnesses. And let's not forget, we got spirits. And I remember when he felt my spirit strong around him, he fed his spirits that day. And then I felt the attack. So I'm like, I'm done. Because now I know you are the enemy. You just kept putting that mask and making it seem like, oh, it's so friendly. See, that's that. He has a Libra stellium and Sag stellium. That's that Libra shit trying to make it all happy dappy. But really, Sag is a wild sign. The bad side, really like thinking the worst things ever to the extreme level. Okay. And that's when I was like, okay, no, nigga, this is not love. I'm done.
Mm.
This is not love.
Right. And so that is a key part to the ladies listening when you're in these situations, is to realize when that person is not really for you, as far as like they don't really care to make you feel good. They don't really care to truly love you. It's just to conquer you. It's just to be over you a certain way. That person is actually an enemy and they're sleeping in the same bed as you. This is when you start to take back your power and say, wait, this person is actually attacking me. They're not really trying to make this work. They just want to keep me in a certain state so that they can just have me at their disposal. You know, you listen to what she said about how he would play her depending on his relationships with other women as well. So probably when he was going through things with the other women, then he'll come to her. And then he's going through things with her, he'll go over here, right? It's all just to keep control.
And another thing too, the real reason why I left. See, this is why I'm grateful I'm spiritual now, because family secrets are being revealed. Now, I remember I texted you. I told you my mom died when I was young, right?
Right.
You didn't ask me how though. Now, mind you, it was because of my father.
Mm.
Yeah, my father was out here cheating on my mom, and allegedly they said a woman did voodoo on my mom, but no,
Mm.
it was bad because he saw where my mom was headed. My dad knew my mom was gonna leave, and she was in Haiti at the time, seeing her family since she was in America, and he was still cheating on my mom when she was over there. Okay, so I felt like my mom was probably going to date someone else, and my dad was very jealous at the time, so he didn't want to protect my mom. He allowed her to just die,
Mm.
and then for years, my father was collecting Social Security checks, but barely taking care of us. He was taking care of his business. He was a cruel dad. And you know what?
Mm.
I'm sorry. You know what? I forgive my father, but I still don't talk to him to this day.
Mm.
And I'm at with that. This is why I'm saying generational curses are real.
It is.
It's real. Because the same way your parents are, it's kind of like that same way is gonna happen for you if you don't change your course. Stuff
Mm.
like and with my mother going to his dream, my dream, she was not quitting. My
Right.
mom wanted to know where that was gonna end up.
Right. So that's deep, y'all, because this is showing how all of this comes full circle, even spiritually, even, physically,
Yeah, exactly.
as you're breaking free from these type of people, is recognizing the trauma in your own lineage, your grandmothers, your mothers, your fathers, and dealing with that just as much as you coming to realization of the reality of what's happening. Because you, another thing I can hear in this conversation is you have to take hope out of the equation with that person sometimes, because
Yeah.
you hoping that it gets better, it keeps you in it, and it's not. You have to come to terms with the reality of who they are, what they are, and what's happening now. What's been
Mm,
happening for the last few months? What is the truth? You
yeah.
know? And then that's when you add
Yeah.
the other parts in and say, you know what? My mom went through this. My dad went through this. My grandma went through this. This is in my birth chart. This is now ways that you can break free from these
Mhm.
situations to have a wholesome life. You know,
Well, basically, when it comes to women, right? Like we have to get our emotions out because I feel like me loving him is what made me feel weak because my heart is too big. You know what I mean? But sometimes the heart can be deceitful. You know what I mean? Because like it brings you to that. That's why this guy is big on love work.
right?
You get what I mean? I peep every time he talks about love work. I would peep some shit is happening around me. Basically, I would peep that he gets me in other relationships just so I can go back to him and be like, oh, this nigga wasn't shit. He's the hero guy. Because that happened before. You know what I mean? So
Right.
again, I feel like I had to go through all this to see the patterns, number one. And again, I guess doing what I'm doing now so women could see the signs, but you have to stay committed. You have to stay committed and take responsibility, okay, when it comes to your emotions. Because we women can really thrive over our emotions in our daydream fantasy. Like this is all systematic. This is why I say this is deeper than deep than us. This is like all part of this fucking shit that's going on right now. Okay. So I feel like honestly, if you're not staying committed to you, to really live for you and make sure you, let me not say you, your inner child,
Mm.
okay? Because a lot of people have wounded inner childs that they're not dealing with. And this is why we run to codependent relationships, okay? I had to heal my inner child to be the parent to my inner child. To be like, okay, no, I'm not doing this to her. She's not going through that. I'm not putting up with this because I'm not going to put her through that.
Mm.
This time I've been like not like ignoring, but I just been biased, like, oh whatever, this shit don't matter. I didn't know nothing about spirituality. But as I got deeper and deeper and learned more about myself and why I do the things I did and why this shit happened the way it did, I realized that I wasn't taking the responsibility for myself, meaning my internal child. I wasn't really paying attention to her. I was just like going around, like, okay, maybe this will work. Okay, maybe this will work. Okay, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do what I gotta like. No, sometimes you gotta sit down and assess like what's really going on. Okay, well, what can I do to get out of this? Because this is clearly not working. You know what I mean? And if I have to go to spirit to do that, I'll do it. All right. Which is what I did.
Mm.
So for those that are not spiritual, you just got to take responsibility, like for your emotions, for your health. Because listen, in womanhood, you know why I love American Horror Stories? They have a season called The Coven. Have you seen that?
I didn't watch it. No,
What? You should watch it. That shit lit.
I didn't
But
watch.
yeah, Horror Stories. It's called the season 3 was The Coven. That was when they built a school in New Orleans for a bunch of witches that had gifts and didn't feel safe in the world to live in. And then you saw when they got together, it made them stronger and empowered them as women.
Mm.
You know, and I feel like because we don't have a lot of that in the society, this is why women are dropping left and right. Because like, oh man, I'm not gonna listen to my friend, yeah, that single friend. I keep saying, oh, they're hating on men. Like, no, honey. Don't get me wrong. There's some bitter friends out there that don't want you to be in your relationships. But obviously, if your relationship is not thriving and it's toxic, listen to your friends, okay? Because that's one thing I'm not gonna lie, I used to do. All right, where my friends would say certain things. I'm like, oh, whatever. She probably hating because she want my man. Like, no, honey. She's really trying to help
Right,
you.
she's trying to
Uh,
save you. She's trying to give you some game.
about women that try to save their man through their chaos just for them to die early.
Mm.
You know, you can die from a heartbreak.
Mm.
Like, I didn't know that was a scientific fact. So
Wow.
that's when I started and I started healing.
Wow. And this, guys, this is, I'm going to say, like, all of this has been making so much commotion on social media. Now a lot of women are coming, to healing, especially, I put up a video, a clip from a live he did. not too long ago. Because as you hear Lady Galactica in our last live, she talked about healing a lot and bringing up healing. And, I guess people thought, what she was saying, what, but now people are starting to see the truth as he had this conversation recently with the current girl, who was a previous mistress, who now worked her way into being a girlfriend. She got promoted, I guess, right? And so this is a conversation with them.
Yo, if you don't share the same opinion as me, you're an op. You're my opposition.
Well, no, that person needs to heal.
I'm just saying, but you stop talking that gay ass healing shit when you know you're a fucking gangster.
I am, but
you a gangster. You talking this bullshit healing shit, dog.
No, that's not bullshit.
Listen, you talking to gay. Listen,
all right now.
Listen.
Don't you fucking start.
Listen.
Y'all finna see Bokor get knocked out.
So that is what this woman here was trying to hit. There's no healing that. Like, only
lying. Like, for the truth shall set you free, yo. I don't even gotta say shit for people to see it for the fuck it is. Nigga, you need help.
You need help.
All right.
Right.
Everybody, even me. I'm still motherfucking. Yeah, I think this shit is like a 1, 2, 3. That's it. No, that's why I say you have to be committed.
Only time.
Yes.
And consistency can bring that.
Yeah. Stay committed. Even though you feel like you can't do it, still bounce back. You know what I mean? You gotta catch yourself. You gotta mentor yourself. Like, basically, if you're not like that, you won't survive this. Okay. Only the strong can survive. And I had to really gain my strength up to really push myself through.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right. And even still, since all of this, our queen here has even gotten threatening messages from others.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
Here's even one recently. So, this person, and this is all in her text messages. Okay.
Right.
So, this person says, "We're not playing with any of y'all. You put Leonard's name in some shit that's nothing to do with you. Whatever you got going on personally, that should remain private. But we are going to send a warning to you. Keep your distance from Brujo and keep Leonard's name out your mouth. Shit can get real difficult for you and your fam." So that's one. So this is just showing you, these are obviously people that he knows, or him himself changing numbers through the damn call now or with text now. And this is another one. Brujo is done. You better not mention Leonard's name on the internet again if you know what's good for you. So this is all coming to our queen here. Mind you, I haven't received none of that smoke. So this is also a weakness.
Let me say this, right? I'm getting these messages way before. I did not know my name was being passed around for weeks, and I didn't even know. Okay, one. Number two, I got those messages after the fact all this shit is going on that I had no clue what's going on. I barely knew you said, "Oh, my name I was telling the truth." I barely knew he said, "Oh, I made my name twice." I barely knew what the fuck was going on until he sent me those messages, and he privately called me on the phone. And I remember when he called me, I was like, "Hello?" He was like, "You called the ops on me, though? You called the ops on me?" I hung up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? People, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It wasn't until Brujo's page, and I saw he had all these videos with not only with him saying that I was telling the truth, but he had a video where he was saying that he made me. Like, honey.
Right. And so this man was threatening her.
This is not me creating shit. This is shit that was talked about way before I even know what the fuck is going on. So for those that kept saying, "Oh, stay out this business," honey, then keep my name out this shit. All right. If it wasn't for him saying, "Oh, I made Madame Etoile," what does that have to do with King Brujo and y'all's situation? So obviously you brought me in the fire, and I'm trying to end it for you.
Right.
Okay. Because this shit is a fucking hot mess.
And so be aware as you're breaking free from these type of men, they can still threaten you just how he threatens our queen Lady Galactica here, and send threatening messages or have people send threatening messages. y'all be seeing this shit on TV and on movies, and you think this don't be happening in real life. It happens all the time. It's people watching right now that they done been through that. So,
Yeah.
when these men, take them serious, honestly, when they're doing things like sending you these type of threatening messages, if you got to put restraining orders on people, that's what you got to do. Whatever it is, get them in the system so that the system knows their bullshit, to make it more severe if they cross those lines. Because this is crazy for this woman to have been receiving these threats before she ever came on my platform to talk about the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
He was so afraid because he did not want the truth to get out, and for people to know that, he was living foul. And even right now, he living with the side chick that got promoted to being his girlfriend. So it's a lot that these men, they do so much negativity, they do so much foul shit. They don't be wanting people to know their true character, but in reality, their true character should be known to protect people, and because they shouldn't be able to just walk and continue doing that to the next one and the next one and the next one. So all of this that this woman has told you today is very valid information that can really help you or your friends. So y'all
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you guys are sharing this type of content to your friends or your family that may be going through things like this, even especially if it's spiritual, because a lot of people are going through this. Because, more people have to be able to have the outlet to escape. All right. So,
Yeah. And I'm sorry, if I can escape this, you can escape anything, because this was spiritual, okay? He was a spiritual abuser.
mm,
And that's something I wish that was normalized, spiritual abuse, because men that are abusive can use those taxes just because they don't go to jail. Because obviously on the physical, they need documentation, they need proof.
right. Well,
I
this
could
person, I believe he did go through physical violence in the past with women.
did
Um,
with one. That's why he did. That's why he was moving different this time.
right. So
So
he abused a woman before her, and he tried to like talk fast past that one, right? Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I gave her, how the young Pharaoh said, I gave her a quick bop bop, and then it was, you know what I'm saying?
Nigga, can you be in detail? What does the bop bop mean? How strong
Right,
is that?
right. So this is a man that,
This shit is crazy to me. Like, honestly, y'all, I don't even care about the situation, but I know there's a reason I have to speak out, because again, you might be going through this, your mother, your sister might be going through this, and they might want to hear this, okay? Just know that they can't escape from this. You just have to stay committed to yourself. And it's a self-healing journey.
mm,
All right. That's something you gotta keep in mind. You don't wanna distract yourself with other partners, you know what I mean? Like, it's kinda like a wound. You don't wanna keep putting shit on there and now it gets dirty, now it gets infected. Like, no, honey. Keep that wound, heal it. As it keeps healing more and more, you move the stitches out. Now that shit can, you know what I mean? Now it's normal, it's like you good. But if you like still putting shit around it, that wound will start getting bruised and infected and
they might have
shit.
to cut your whole arm,
Yeah, for real, you might lose the whole arm.
the whole thing. So
Yo,
y'all be sure that you stay, for those who need insights and things like that, make sure you get in touch with our Queen Lady Galactica, through her Instagram. I'm gonna put because you're gonna start being more active on YouTube, right?
yes.
Yeah, so I'll put her YouTube as well in the description for you guys so that you can, be in tune, because she's one of the best astrologers that I know.
Thank you.
As far as like what she kicks knowledge wise, she's very advanced with the stuff that she speaks on with astrology. So I want y'all to be in tune just to get the knowledge as well. And she's a strong woman. She was able to escape even through verbal, emotional, spiritual abuse with a person who actually refined his abuse, because before he used to physically abuse. Then he ran into a situation that caused him to have to reassess that part, and then he became a more of a spiritual abuser, of an emotional abuser, of a narcissistic manipulator, and that's where he lives at now. And she was able to escape the evolved abuse of him getting to like the final boss of like being an abuser. She was able to get away from that. So y'all need to stay in tune with women like this, because they're very powerful. So Queen, what do you want to tell the people, you know, so they can take with them from all of this?
Listen, do your homework, do your research, okay? Like, talk to women. Listen, I had a lot of female friends that were not friends just because they stayed with those men. Okay, and those very men told them to stay away from women like me, because I was knowledgeable. I knew how to get them out, because it's really a psychological thing. Okay, so if you really want to find a way to escape yourself from the situation, start to slowly withdraw emotionally and keep yourself busy. Okay, start looking for a job that's going to keep you busy 24/7. Just so he has no time to try to, you know, make up things to find out how he can manipulate. No, keep yourself busy. Keep working on yourself, because if you just let yourself go and you let him take control, honey, it's over. All right. So take your power back, especially those. And let me say this too: they like to go for younger people. Okay, meaning like if you're younger than 28, which makes sense, because when you're 27, that's when you're going through your shadow return. Meaning you got your power now. You become an adult now. You're seeing the shit, because that's what happened to me. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're young, honey, please take precaution, do your research, look at the red flags, and leave early. Don't stay and be like, oh, let me see. Don't do that. Okay? Because that's what's going to make it harder. I have a sister to this day that is stuck with a narcissistic man, and they've been together for 9 years. I can't get her out for some reason. Don't let that be you, please. Okay?
So with that being said, family, y'all take this wisdom that coming from the divine feminine itself, and run with that, grow with that, and continue to progress, you know. And with that said, I love y'all. Y'all stay safe out here, stay aware, pay attention. All right. So we get with you.